Welcome back to The Hill as part of NewsNation's continuing coverage of the aftermath of the East Palestine train derailment. We have news tonight on a new concern for residents there. Test results just published from researchers at Carnegie Mellon and Texas A&M universities are now raising questions about a chemical substance called Acrolein. We're now learning that chemical was present at 6 times the normal level in East Palestine 2 weeks after the derailment. Researchers are warning long-term exposure to concentrations of it could be hazardous to your health. This, of course, in addition to ongoing concerns about air pollution. Joining us now to discuss is the congressman who represents that district, Congressman Bill Johnson. Congressman, thank you for being back here on the Hill. This is another headline that raises even more questions. I was reading about Acrolein, and none of it sounds good. Impacts your nose, wind box, voice pipe, fluid in the lungs, burns your lips, mouth, throat, stomach. I can go on and on. When you heard of this, I'm wondering what you thought and whether or not, and what you would like the EPA to do about it going on from here.
Well, I just heard about it actually today from you folks, Blake. First, I've heard of Acrolein. I've been in East Palestine very, very often, almost consistently for the first.
Let me stop you, Congressman. Let me stop you, Congressman, for a second.
Yeah.
Nobody from the federal government told you about this report?
No, I haven't seen a report about Acrolein. No.
Wouldn't you expect that? I mean, that seems sort of.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. You would expect to hear something about it, and you know, I'm grateful that that NewsNation is keeping this in the news, because the mainstream media long ago shut down their operation in East Palestine. I'm there every week. I talk to the residents. I talk to the EPA, both federal and state. No one has ever mentioned Acrolein to me, and I've never seen this so-called report that this gentleman from Purdue has produced. But I can tell you, we're going to dig into it, and we're going to ask a lot of questions. I promise the people there in East Palestine, this issue is not over until they say it's over. And we're going to dig in and find out what this is all about.
It's amazing that you haven't heard of it. That to me is a bit shocking.
I haven't heard of it.
President Biden, you talk about NewsNation, Congressman, staying on this story. He has not been to East Palestine. I asked the press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, back in mid-April if the president was planning on going, and she was asked about it again last week. Here's her response, and we'll talk to you about it on the other side.
Well, the president, I mean, once the president said it, so I will keep that, he keeps to his word. So I'm just going to repeat what the president said. He will travel to the area, to East Palestine. Just don't have anything to share on travel or upcoming dates that he'll be there. But the president said it, he's going to go, so he will go. Once we have a date, we'll certainly share that.
You think the president's going to show up, Congressman? And at this point, do you want him to go to East Palestine?
Look, I think the people in East Palestine would appreciate hearing from the President of the United States and have him continue to shed light on their issues and concerns. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I mean, it's 6 months after the train derailment. We had to shame his transportation secretary into coming to East Palestine. And when he did show up, he shows up at 7 o'clock in the morning when he doesn't have to talk to anybody. So, you know, I'll believe it when I see it. I've heard these reports that the president is going to go, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
What do you need from the federal government right now?
Need the federal government to keep doing what they're doing. You know, the EPA under EPA Administrator Michael Regan has committed to hold the railroad accountable, to continue monitoring and testing the water and the air. I'm going to bring up this issue of Acrolein to them and find out what they know. So I expect the federal government to continue doing what they said they were going to do, which is to be there for the long run. As you know, Governor DeWine has requested a disaster declaration, and I think the governor made the right decision, given that the federal government denied his request for an extension because the governor wants the railroad to pay the bill, not the American taxpayers. It was the railroad that caused this accident, and he wants the railroad to be the one to pay. So I want the federal government to still do what they said they were going to do.
In this report I just looked at, Congressman, new study, Acrolein mentioned 24 times. Congressman Bill Johnson, representing East Palestine. Congressman, thank you, and come on back, please.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.